I'm like the captain of the team. Guys, we're gonna go all the way. Let's go. We're getting after. And I fucking blew my knee out. I just felt those walls caving. Let's pivot. I wanted to act. It all started very, very ground level, like literally in the back of Backstage.
Taco Cabana, real Mexican, real good.
That was my first paying job in the business.
You were a star on one of the biggest shows on Netflix ever.
You're talking about Orange is the New Black. Yeah, that opportunity was so crazy. That was my moment. I mean, I worked with David Simon, Oscar Isaac, Mary J. Blige, Ed Harris. What actor has not tried to get on a Taylor Sheridan show over the last 3.5, 4 years?
There you go, Berto!
You're always auditioning. Everyone's taking notes about who you are, how you behave, how you come across. It's constant.
So I'm at this gala on a Friday night. I got hired to shoot a gala because I'm very fancy now. And I go, and my daughter, she's 17. You have a daughter around that same age.
Yeah, same age.
And anyone who's met my daughter, she does not like to talk on the phone to me. It's fine. It's just she's not into it, right?
Right.
So I'm like, this is an emergency. Something I answer. I'm like, are you okay? And she's with her friends, and she goes, do you know Berto Colón? And I'm like, yeah, Berto's my boy. We met at the gym, and we're on each other's Instagram feeds. And she's like, do you know that he's on this new show called Dutton Ranch, and I go to school with his daughter? And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I'm starting a podcast next week, and he's gonna be my first guest.
Dude, that's amazing. That's perfect. That brightens my day. That is so funny. It's all connected. We're all connected somehow.
No, I mean, listen. This was the first time I was cool in her eyes. In 10 years, honestly. So I thank you.
I'm glad that you're cool in her eyes, even if it's for a fleeting moment, because this is the stage where we are not cool in their eyes. I'm going through it myself, and ironically enough, a couple of weeks ago, now speaking about. Word gets around. I'm at this F1 event at Baseline Social, and a good friend of mine runs the marketing for F1. He's a local guy here, and he's brothers with a Nick Falco, who used to run the beer garden in Asbury Park, and we've been good friends for a long time, and so we've been going back and forth. We just wanted to get together. And his brother is the one that works for marketing, for the F1 marketing, and he says that I mentioned RBC, Red Bank Catholic. He's like, oh, wait, you have a daughter? I was like, yeah, she's graduated now. She's a senior. I'm like, oh, well, I have a freshman, blah, blah, blah. And, I get home. Sophia goes, did you meet so-and-so and so-and-so, blah, blah, blah? Because the text I got from him once he got home was like, yeah, my daughter Soph knows your Soph. And by the way, you have a reputation of being very protective of your daughter. And I didn't know how to take that. I didn't know because, they.
Well, I was telling you last night that because we were talking a little bit about your daughter having a boyfriend. And if I was a kid in high school and I had to come home or go to their house and meet you, I'd be terrified. I'd
good.
Yes.
That's it. That's on purpose. That's on purpose. And I'm proud. I'm very happy about that. And so it was good. I mean, I think that deep down inside, it gives her a sense of protection, right? Like she feels nurtured and protected by me. Because I didn't know if that was going to be a positive thing, but it was. So sort of like sort of like you feeling cool.
Yes.
I felt the same way.
No,
I was a little bit worried at first. I didn't know how she was going to take it. But yeah, I didn't know what that meant. Overbearing would have been a bad word. Like, it's like, Sophia has a reputation of an overbearing dad. Whatever. That would be. But it's protective.
You should be like a TV. That should be your next venture. You should be like a TV dad.
My agents and managers have discussed it.
Yeah, because you're scary as hell. I mean, let's face it.
Man.
You're what? 6'3"?
Yeah, I'm 6'1". I'm 6'1".
Oh, only 6'1".
On a good day.
Okay, so you present yourself as 6'3", 6'4", which actually, I mean, I would take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Because you're.
I've always wanted to be taller. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. You do have, but you're such a softie.
Yeah, I think most giants, most Look, knowing that you come into a room and having an awareness of your physical presence is a great. It's like it's a great acknowledgement to have, right? It's a great. I don't know. It's good to have that. I've always thought about that. You know, this is why we stay fit. It's not because we want to be big and bulky and massive, and it's because there's a certain way you carry yourself when you are healthy, when you're fit, when you're in shape.
Yep.
And you walk in the room and there's an understated situation that happens when you walk in, and I think that's wonderful. I mean, it doesn't always, I mean, for the most part, it doesn't always work to my benefit, especially in a business like this. You know, I get typecasted a lot, and the second I walk into a room, sometimes people make their own decisions about me. And so,
Of course.
that's why it's taken me a while to master this concept of just focusing on the work and then maybe understating or not highlighting things that as an actor sometimes you want to tend to highlight. It's, you know, there are things that are already there.
Yeah.
And you know, having that awareness and understanding that about yourself, about your presence, about how you are perceived. I mean, it's not deniable, right? It's not like I could ignore that I'm 220 pounds and 6'1". We can't really ignore that.
Right.
But we also don't need to like oversell that. Like,
Yeah.
it just,
But it kind of works for you now.
it works. So thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I want to get into it later, but
well, sure.
one of my other favorite stories about you, we are at the gym together. That's where we met. And we take a picture and all our shirts are off, right? And you're sitting in the middle, like, you know, because, you know, you're the diva, right? And we're all standing around you, we're flexing. And you post this on your Instagram account.
Uh-huh.
And now your fans, they all hate me because they're like, why are these white boys standing around you flexing? And like,
God.
so this is my apology.
It was a great shot, man.
Yeah.
It was a good shot. It was a good shot. It was an impromptu shot, and it was nice. And honestly, I don't know how to pose for pictures sometimes. And I kind of have a dislike for this whole fucking world that we live in where people are just posting their routines on a daily basis.
Oh my God, I know what you mean.
Look,
yeah.
I love freedom of expression on the one hand, yes, but then there's just this idea that we give ourselves so much fucking importance when we do that. I don't know. It's nice. It's a good to have a healthy dose of that, which is what I think that photo did. Mm-hmm. It's an understated aftermath photo of us. After a good wad.
Boys
you know
being
what I mean?
boys,
It's
man.
boys being boys.
Yeah.
We weren't flexing, we weren't pushing weight.
I was flexing, but I was 20 pounds later.
Yeah. Listen, man, and kudos to you, man, because I mean, I was not aware that so I've been a frail, skinny kid my whole life. You came from you were like a little bit more of a heavy set guy and you trimmed down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that I imagine, the struggles are maybe the same, I don't want to assume, but I just never thought I was going to gain any muscle my whole life. Like that was always a problem. And I could imagine what it must be like when you're like a little bit on the heavier side to think that nothing is going to come off. You know,
everything was just bad. Like I just felt bad all over. Like I was just like in just like weird health issues. Like when I was eating, I always felt like I was choking. Like there's gross, like everything was bad.
It was off.
And then
you were off. You
have your second kid. I had my second kid, and I was like, it's enough. Like, you know, I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I just made a decision. I paid, if anyone wants good weight loss advice, I paid a nutritionist, and I went in and she asked me how much I wanted to spend, like her packages or whatever. And I just said, whatever the highest one is. Because if I was going to pay that much money, I was going to.
Yeah, you were going to do it. You go all in.
Yeah, I lost 50 pounds in like the next 3 months.
That's amazing.
In 3 months. And it was just eating less. It was like I just sort of ate slower and ate less, and that's
responsible about your diet. It's at least 70% of the game. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to get into. So I recently changed the name of my company.
Okay.
I was Creator Media Group, which I never liked because I don't want it to be just me. Like I want to grow this thing.
Yeah.
And everyone's talking about Hollywood East. This is Hollywood East.
This is Hollywood East now.
So let's discuss this area, which is a very unique area in the country.
Yeah.
I think one of the most, like, it's just so interesting because, you know, you have the boats here now, right? We're in Atlantic Highlands.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden we're a beach town that's also the most, like,
accessible.
the most popular probably commuter town to Manhattan.
Yes. Arguably the Mecca, right? I mean, New York City, LA, New York City, you could argue which is the best, doesn't really matter. They're both centers of the world.
Yep.
And we are a 30-minute commute.
It's
30
crazy.
to 40-minute commute.
It's wild when you
boat.
think about it. When they put that C streak in, and now these beach towns all down, like, from Sandy Hook, Seabright, down Asbury Park.
Yeah.
All tourist attractions. When I moved here in 2004, that wasn't the case.
Yeah, no. And I moved here in 2010. And as you know, our progression into New Jersey was I went to Fordham U, graduated from Fordham. I was able to go back to my house, and then I started renting there. My then girlfriend, wife now, we were dating, and sort of we started in the city. We started there, and then when we decided to move in together, we started out in Jersey City, right? So it was a slow progression, kind of like out of the boroughs, out of the city.
That was kind of what we did.
We wanted to kind of stay in. I think her first job was with there was a law firm downtown in Water Street. Was one of the first jobs, and then there was AIG was her first job, which actually started in Jersey City, but 9 months into being in Jersey City, moved to New York. So why we came here, I guess this is the point. It was that selling point was the C Streak. And we knew that there was a Middletown stop and there was a Red Bank stop. And then we kind of got familiar with the trains. The buses, as a New York City kid, I was what you called, in high school, I grew up in a 2-fare zone, which meant that I had to jump on the bus and the train.
That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So most people are in a 1-fare zone. I had to do 2, whatever, if I wanted to, because you had to use both, the bus and the train. But that was the selling point. The guy who sold us the home as the kind of like the thank you card that he gave us had a 10-pack from C Street when he closed.
Oh, that's a great closing gift.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, this area is very unique, very unique. There's just been constant evolutions. I've been here since 2010. You were 2004, but there's always been some type of something has been brewing that this was going to be bigger and better, and starting with the C Streak and on with all the other
now Netflix.
Now Netflix, but even before that, the developments of we looked at Asbury in 2004 and 2005. The beach was there. There's a break. I could have surfed every day, but obviously my wife is not a surfer. She's not into it, and so. It was going to be, and it was a little bit further away. No C Streak either.
Yeah, that's rough.
I had to take a 20-minute ride to one of the to the port or whatever, the dock, for the C Streak, and then this guy recommended Leonardo of all places. The taxes were a bit less here, and it was a start at home. At that time, 2010. We had a 2 and a 1-year-old. So
right.
And again, literally, it was starting from scratch. It was just my wife and I, and the girls.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. Honestly,
this
it's
area,
really
It was good. It was a good move. It was a very good move for us.
So with Netflix coming in, all I'm hearing on social media now is Netflix is coming, Hollywood East is here, like this is this, but I don't know if like anyone knows what that actually means. Like for me as a filmmaker, for you as an actor. For all my friends who are business owners, for all my friends who are realtors, like, what does it mean? I don't know what it means. And I think that's why I wanted to start this podcast so we could sort of, talk about it. Because, I think it's going to be, it's like you said, the area is always evolving, and I want to celebrate the area. I love this area. It is my favorite place I've ever lived. I love Atlantic Highlands so much. I love all of Monmouth County. I think it is. We'll talk about hidden gems later, but this is the country's hidden gem, in my opinion. Yeah,
I think the area is amazing. Location, proximity to the city, the diversity of people. There's just schools. The schools were a big part of the program here, right? All these things that kind of brought us to this, and now to have Netflix here, right? Like the irony, but at the same time, the serendipity of that move and that event that's about to take place. This area is going to be look, it's going to explode. And I was working with Kettle One in 2020, and there were rumblings about this then.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
And one of the guys that I worked with, one of the owners at Teak at the time, has a house right outside of the gates in Fort Monmouth. And his property value then, like kind of like in the inside, because they were either thinking about buying and move. They were having, new addition to the family. Baby was coming, et cetera, et cetera. And I just remember being, it struck me years later when this deal finally went through and these guys decided to come here. And there's definitely going to be an explosion here. Everyone's going to benefit. All the businesses are going to benefit. Any service, any like independent service or business owner, like if you're a mom and pop shop, you have an opportunity to kind of just grow your business exponentially, and quality of life stuff. We'll see, right? Like, I mean, my only concern on the negative side would be, it's like, what kind of how crowded is it going to get here? The traffic, the all of the congestion that we're probably going to have.
Yeah.
But there's just so many upsides to this, right? Like,
I know.
We talked about the real estate value, the business is going up, just the amount of people that are going to take notice in this area. And for me, as an actor, I did The Night Agent, and our locations, we had locations, but our studio was the Brooklyn South location at Netflix. If it's anything like that, now this is a small studio inside of a borough, like surrounded by properties and homes, and so everything is sort of in-house, right? Like, and I'm talking from, you even have a mini hotel inside of this property, but then the facility itself, what it offers for filmmakers and for productions, it's insane. Like, you literally have 3 hangars inside of this building. Each one of those hangars kind of can be kind of compartmentalized to be its own production studio. And like, let's just say from the ground up, you have your hangar, you have your stages, you have all the stuff, the ongoings, the loading, the in and out to those stages. And then above that, you have like conference rooms, meeting rooms, lunch area. Like, it's designed to just, you can literally do 6, 7, 8 months. You can do a full year. You can have ongoing productions in these places.
Wow.
The only thing you have to step out for is whatever outside locations you got to shoot. And it's highly successful. And I'm assuming there is some traffic. There are some, I think the city helps out a lot. I mean, the fact that you have a subway near that location in the city, it does help out a lot. We don't have that here per se.
Those roads are a little rough over there too by Fort Monmouth. They're
that's, I mean, I think I was talking to somebody the other day who's had some experience with city planning, and the exit out of Fort Monmouth, I guess I forget what the name of that road is, but it's already there. It would be nice to kind of create an exit to Garden State Parkway. There's a way to do it.
That'd be great.
Because I think that can be like a kind of in and out. That can be a very direct line. So if any city planners are listening, I know this wasn't my idea.
Right.
But I forget the name of that road, whatever that road is. It comes right out of the gate, crosses 36, and then I forget the name of it again. I just don't know what the name of the road is. But I know that road possibly may have the ability to get diverted, or some type of exit entry could be kind of constructed for the GSP. And that could just be a dedicated entrance.
No, that makes sense. I think they're gonna have to do like something there, but listen, I'm sure they've thought about it.
They've thought about it, yeah.
It's that Eatontown area, like, it gives me anxiety driving without the studios there.
Without the studios there. It's already very crowded.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty expansive. That road is pretty open. It's like 4 lanes, and that 36. It's crazy because 36 is kind of north-south, and then when you get down there, it's east-west.
Yeah, it gets so confusing.
It's very, like, for someone who hasn't, traveled, that would not understand. But and then there's that big mall that they took down the Eatontown Mall, and now they're building more houses there.
Yeah, I guess so. It's insane. It's wild. So in your circles, have you heard anything like it? Do you think that work's going to get work's already great for you, and we'll get into that. But,
yes.
But you think it's just going to be more easier, or
I think for me,
you have no idea.
I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea. However, it would be amazing if I can just work right out of
I know.
backyard. Like, I could ride a bike to work if I was brave enough. But I'm just excited that it's here. I'm excited. Look, the explosion of content and the way that TV works nowadays, it's like there's no limits. There's literally no limitations.
Yeah.
You can do anything. There's just so many different areas that you or channels that you can use to create and get your work out there. Getting your work seen and getting your work sold, and creating this work is still difficult, right? We have big corporations that have their business model and how they want to do things now. with this, with the main focus always being on fucking money all the time, and that's fine. This is still a creative process, and I think, Netflix champions that for at
Of
least
course.
from my experience.
Yeah,
of
and I
what
want to
I've
talk about
seen.
that because
Yeah.
that's, I mean,
And
you have an inside track.
the more outlets, the more places that Netflix has to create more avenues like that. Of course, I'm for it, and I'm sure that this is going to kind of expand their portfolio of opportunities for young filmmakers or whatever. I mean, this is just opening doors for whatever underrepresented group of creatives and filmmakers are interested. There is that little bit of more of an opening now for all of those
Yep.
people. And
Yep.
maybe perhaps they can put some kind of program in place or some incentivize someone from Jersey, for example. If you're local and you come shoot here, you'll get, whatever other tax benefits could be had. I don't know. There's all kinds of ways that you can structure and you can create openings and create opportunities, right, for people to get things done. And I think, we're
Yeah.
very lucky to have
It's great.
this prospect here right now. It's gonna.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I think it's still kind of far away right now.
It is, yeah. It's a little bit further. I didn't know, and I took my parents through there. Like, oh, look at what they're building. There was nothing there yet. It's still baseline social.
From 2020 to 2026, I went from it all went from like just conversations to actually like now we're seeing like there is actual construction going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if we were to make a judgment on what's going to happen throughout the course of this year, how much sooner, let's say by the end of 2026, depending on how construction is doing, how much sooner after 2026 will we see our first production start there?
Yeah.
I mean, I would venture and say it's probably a year or two away after that, depending on how much they get done by the end of this year.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's an accident that two productions are filming outside right now. And I mean, there's the Adam Driver one. That's their old
crazy
circus
how they
film.
turned that mall into like an entire.
Yeah.
That's a movie set now. I drove my kids through it the other day, and my mom who was visiting, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Mom, this is all.
This is happening.
a
My
facade.
friends, Lex and Steve,
Yeah.
they got approached at like get their house. I think maybe for the same
Probably.
or there's another one on Navesink that's shooting on Navesink River Road that also so it's
It's
just
been crazy.
popping up. Yeah.
Happy Gilmore, what was that, a year or
Yeah,
so ago?
yeah,
Happy
yeah.
Gilmore 3 shot right up the street at Beacon Hill.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in Jersey. A lot going on in Jersey
Yeah.
as far as like this film, the film production and the film TV film production in New Jersey is exploding, and it's no accident.
No, it's great. And so, I mean, again, like when I wanted to do this podcast, I wouldn't even started it if you didn't. I would have been like, if Berto says no, I'll never do another episode again because I needed you on this because you are perfect for it. You live in the area.
Thank
You chose to raise your family in the area.
Yeah.
And, you were a star on one of the biggest shows on Netflix ever.
You're talking about Orange is the New Black. Yeah, that opportunity was so crazy. It was the beginning of Netflix. Right after we had spent many years ordering CDs from them. Suddenly they were they were actually providing and creating content, producing their own. And I think it was Lilyhammer, House of Cards, and
House of Cards is for you, okay?
it was amazing. And so it was Lilyhammer, House of Cards, and Orange is the New Black.
So okay, wow, it was
So
that early.
those three. That was
built
it was
it.
literally the beginning.
Lilyhammer, when Lilyhammer came out, I was like, I'm not watching it. I'm not watching something produced by a streamer. But now look, it's crazy.
Here
That's all
it is,
I do.
and then House of Cards, which went on to I think 4 or 5 different seasons, and I mean that was a powerhouse of a show.
Yeah.
And then Orange is the New Black, arguably another powerhouse, and
Of course.
I mean literally platforms where what we know now was launched on the backs of
Insane.
these productions.
You were part of history.
And I'm part of the fabric of that TV history. So yeah, it's amazing. Great opportunity. Started off very, very like unassuming, right? It was just a call to go in and read for this role. Cesar, who was, criminal, convict, drug dealing pimp, as my friends like to always say. Cesar was my drug dealing pimp. The audition process was like any other, except you kind of didn't know. I was not auditioning for a regular established TV show or a regular film. It was something new. So I went in and I just kind of, there's something to be said about being completely relaxed and not giving a shit about things, and just not that you didn't care, but just having the relaxation to just not being preoccupied with anything and just going in and just doing what you know you could do.
Was it because there was no, because like you didn't
Yeah,
know, like
I
at
just
Netflix,
didn't know.
like
It
you're doing
was-
a
it was
show
an
and you didn't know
unknown.
when, 'cause
It was one of those unknowns.
looking back on it, you're like, I would have been, I would have scared us
Listen,
out.
as an actor, you get excited for any opportunity.
Of course,
I keep that freshman mentality about my all my auditions, every self tape. I go into it like it was like the enthusiasm of a child. You know what I mean? It's just
Me too.
always,
I do in my practice.
That's
too,
why
yeah.
you have to have that kind of like freshman mentality. But I'm telling you, that was the highlight of the day. It was like another opportunity. Let me go get after it. But as far as what this new thing was going to be,
So you went in,
did a crazy read. I know it was fun. They had me do it a couple of times. It's always nice when you do it more than once, more than twice, three
Yeah.
times, and then they ask you to kind of stay. Okay, so now
is that the
let it go.
process of like
Yeah,
some
that's-
people say thanks and then you after the first
yeah,
read,
no,
you're like, I'm never gonna hear
sometimes-
from him again.
Yeah, no. Sometimes you go in and it's like, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Beautiful job. Thank you so much. It's always like, but if you always get the second or the third, and then if you're lucky enough to say, okay, now don't think about anything, just throw it away. I always love that. I was like, just throw it away. Do it like if you're not here, just throw it away. Like that's the attitude, you know. That's what you always like to get. And that one was good because I remember I did it like maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then there were moments in that audition where I just kind of like, appropriately so, kind of went off book
Right.
and just
Good.
because the audition basically entailed me speaking to someone through a door, which already presented a little bit of a challenge,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you're cognizant of the fact that there's somebody speaking to me, but I don't see eyes. I don't have a person in front of me. This is on the other side of the door. I don't want to overdo this, and the door is there, the object, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be an object actor, whatever. Just
Right.
all kinds of things can start fucking you up.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is silence that and just have a conversation, be normal. You know your objective, go get after it. Go get it, and that's it. Like you have your conflict, blah, 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 blah. You have your objective, go do it. And that was a quick turnaround too. That was like, hey, they loved you. We want to book you for this, that, and the other. And the rest is history.
And that turned into a larger role than originally.
So right,
was,
that
yeah.
started out as a what they call a co-star. No set, like there were no set, or it wasn't like there were no deals set like per episode deal or anything like that. It was just a co-star, episode 3, season 2, or episode whatever it was, episode 3 in season 1, whatever it was, and it just evolved from there. My career has sort of followed somewhat of that same pattern, and things kind of usually have started smaller, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
and they've blossomed into more.
That must mean something, though. I mean, if you're on the set
hope so.
and and you're crushing it, or I mean, you're a joy, and I mean, I don't know. People like being
I
around
think all
you.
those things are
Despite your
possible.
I mean, you're so talented, but
Thank you.
I think people just like being around you. I think that has to count for something.
I think it does, and if it's genuine, because a lot of people put on that mask, when they have to, and I mean, this business is kind of known to have those elements, and I think, it's like I always say to my girls, it's not very hard to set yourself apart if you're just genuine. You're you, you know what I mean? And if you're genuinely a caring person, genuinely interested in the work, you genuinely understand the collaborative process of what this is, and you consider and empathize with everyone around you the same way and the same expectations that you would have, that you would expect for yourself, then you, for the most part, you'll be fine. You know what I mean?
It's so important.
It's
It's
so important.
important in our field, in the creative field, to go into that, to any project without an ego and without I mean, I know that for me, I'm still getting work as a video editor in in this environment of cable television that is, a lot of people are out of work because, a lot of stuff is going to streaming and just circles, being closed and all that stuff. And I treat every one of my jobs like an audition, otherwise like if I rub someone the wrong, it's gonna close an avenue, and it's just it's worked for me. So
I absolutely relate. That stint that I had with Kettle One as the brand ambassador or manager of New Jersey. That was a great one of the. I wished I could have kept going with it and still had a career, because I genuinely loved the relationships that I had built. It was, I kind of built a great book of business. I was in charge of going into the on-premise field, which means the restaurants, and creating programs where Kettle One was going to be, highlighted or featured, and you don't get to do that unless you can really connect with people. It wasn't always successful. Thank God that the failure rate was not as high as it is for fucking acting. I mean, I had to have 50 to 60 accounts where I had to have at least a couple of drinks or a few drinks or a few cases every week. The business, I had to generate that business for the brand.
right.
But again, the point is that was not going to happen without a genuine connection with either a beverage manager or a general manager or an owner or a waiter, a bartender. As a former bartender, I always felt like that was my in. So it's all relationships, man, and it's all about creating that. I tell my girls. My father told me this early on. This marketing that we do, we do that every day. We market ourselves every day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a legitimate idea and an awareness of who you are, that's your brand. That's your brand. And it all stems from that. Like, that's your kind of like ground level starting point, and everything else you decide to create with it is part of your brand. It's who you are.
Well said.
Michael Caine has one of my first acting books that I read was Michael Caine's book. And there's a passage in the book where he talks about you're always auditioning. You're always auditioning.
It's
The
true.
second you walk into like the room where you're supposed to go in the back and greet with those people, the agents, the receptionist, everyone, the other actors in that room, everyone's taking notes about who you are, how you behave, how you come across. It's constant, and that left it. I mean, to this day, I still remember that.
I really base my professional career off of that. I never even knew that was a thing, but it's so true.
It's the crux of the matter.
Like in my life, I've had some friends who were so, they wanted to be actors, and the success rate of becoming an actor, where you're at right now is just so incredibly low. And I think your story about how you got into acting is fascinating.
Yeah.
Starting with the football scholarship and all that, and there must have been a fork in the road, and
There was,
and you must have had some learning experiences. So I'd love for you just to for me to shut the fuck up for 5 minutes and let you tell me it.
It's known, like I think the way it all really started for me was obviously through sports. In high school, and even when I was a young kid, I participated in some school plays. And I mean, as far back as like maybe first or second or third grade, I was pretty typical, rambunctious, impulsive, show-off kid. And
Puerto Rico still?
I was still in Puerto Rico at the time, yeah. And what child doesn't want to be noticed? You know what I mean? Like, I think it's a normal thing that, as you mature, you understand what that energy means. But in the beginning, it's just, look at me. Like, I think we all start out like that to a certain extent, And so that, a perfect outlet for a child like that is to go into the arts, go draw, find a music instrument, like go play sports, right? Like, do acting, whatever it is, sing, whatever it is. And so teachers at that time kind of push you in those directions depending of your temperament, et cetera, et cetera. And so that was always kind of lingering there for me. Fast forward to, teen years and sports still having evolved the way they did. And I went through, basketball, swimming, volleyball, and then I just fell in love with football. I was watching Scholastic Sports America in Puerto Rico. I was still in intermediate school. And ironically enough, an older brother of one of my classmates, Cesar Boca Chica. He had an older brother who had already been playing high school football, at 4 or 5 years older than we were, and he was being recruited. And Scholastic Sports America was basically a show about, on ESPN, from the beginning of ESPN, where they were highlighting high school kids across the nation on all sports and their accolades and who was recruiting them before there was all this hype that they do now with all this recruiting, et cetera, et cetera. But it was like legitimate kids who were standouts. I remember it started out in the back of the Sports Illustrated magazines. You had like the last final page had 4 or 5 different, boys, girls, different sports, and they were being highlighted for their accolades. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is an opportunity. Like this actually can happen. And if I move to the States and I'm closer to the source,
okay.
maybe they don't come down to Puerto Rico to look at a lot of high school kids. But they do in the States. And my mom was a nurse already here at the VA. At the time, my brothers and I were living with my father. And my mom was already working in New York. So I had to make a shift. It wasn't fun. I always felt like I left my father behind. Like I just kind of left him, but my father in all the grace and as one of my heroes, always putting me first, basically asked me to not ever look at that situation like that. We're not leaving. You're progressing forward. You're becoming a man. And if this is the next step that you need to do, of course I'm going to applaud that. So I came here, fast forward 4 years of high school, which went great. And I was being recruited. I got recruited by South Carolina. I was really excited about that. I got recruited by all these people. Junior year, I had a stellar year. We went to the quarterfinals in the city at Lehman High School, Lehman Lions forever.
What position, real quick?
I was a running back.
I was going to guess running back or... Okay.
Running back, linebacker. I was kind of all over the place. I played with a lot of big stud names. I mean, we were slated. I mean, we ended up going to the city finals my senior year, and I called it at that camp, that senior year camp.
Yeah.
But I blew my fucking knee out probably 10 minutes after making that call.
Oh, my God.
I'm like the captain of the team. Guys, we're going to go all the way. Let's go. We're getting after it. And I fucking blew my knee out. So in comes my first life-altering event of my life. Like literally, Chris, after surgery, I vividly remember mom going, like everyone went to work. My brothers were, gone out of the house. I was alone in the house and I just looked at the 4 walls and I'm laid up with my leg in a brace with this machine that was moving it back and forth so I could, so it could not get, to avoid stiffness and what have you. And I just felt those walls caving in, man.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I was going to jump out. No. And I don't joke around with things like that. But there was a real desperate feeling, you know what I mean? And I cried a bunch out loud. I was angry, but at the same time, I was venting all that shit out. And I somehow made myself think that I was going to come back that year. Somehow I said that to myself.
Yeah, I think that's
like
not
possible.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't come back in 3 months,
right.
All right? You don't come back. But it was just the coping mechanism that I had developed throughout my life to just, and again, credit to my mom and my father and my stepfather who always instilled that idea in me that, listen, man, like, you got to find a way out of it. And that was my moment. And thankfully, Fordham still gave me the opportunity. I guess I got recruited on my junior films, and
so they
still allowed me to go. And while I was in college, through the course of those 3 years, obviously really focused on football, really focused on a lot of, and I had redshirted. So then I had the opportunity to sort of start doing extracurricular classes, and I studied writing, video design, commercial. I took a couple of acting classes at Fordham. I went to Lincoln Center to take a couple of acting classes there. And then by the end of my senior year, I sort of had this idea that if I knew I needed to go to work, the NFL dreams were probably not a reality anymore. I mean, I already one knee, I had to have a revision, which I didn't mention. I had to have it I had to do a second surgery on that knee, and then I got hurt again sophomore year, and then I blew out the other knee. So dealing with those injuries, the first blow in high school, the second blow in college, and then, realistically speaking, here we go. Like, this is not going to happen. Let's pivot. I went to work at New York Life, but in the back of my mind, this whole thing with film always stayed and stayed. And I wanted to act. I wanted to act. I don't know how. I don't know how I was going to start. Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to act. I started doing some films and I started looking at Backstage and whatnot. I found some casting calls. It all started very, very ground level, like literally in the back of Backstage, graduating, connected with some people, going on some auditions, booking a couple of off Broadway productions, student films here, student films there, little by little. Then I found an agency, then slowly into that found an acting coach, and slowly into that got into soap operas. And then after that, a couple of co-stars. And I just shortened the story by a lot because, I mean, this is a process that it's typical, but it's like, it's the same one. It's just years of beating the pavement until you get some type of break. You know, for me, the break was the soap operas and the co-star roles, and then slowly evolving from that into like finally 2007.
You build that portfolio of work, I guess.
Really, finally, you know, after the soaps, after the small commercials, after the voiceovers, which I touched
I
on
want
a
to hear
little
about
while
that
ago.
again. Yeah.
You know, my actual first earnings in this business was voiceover work. I had gotten in with Cunningham with CESD as a commercial agent. Because I had actually landed I was not even in the union. I landed an international commercial for Grolsch beer. It was 3 other people and me. The 3 other actors happened to be clients of CESD. And in order for these people to set up payments, et cetera, they recommended me to somebody at the agency just to facilitate the company being able to pay me, right?
Right.
Because I mean, there was no structure. I had no LLC. There was no way to get, you know, and the commercial ended up never happening. Things didn't line up, but that chance meeting, that chance meeting with that agent allowed me to have my commercial agent, and then from there, my voice, which, you know, I think is okay, you know, like
that's good.
That was one of the things that I remember in my meetings. Like, you got a great voice. Are you bilingual? It's like, yeah, I can speak. And so I immediately connected with the Tom, who's one of the agents for the voiceover side, and I ended up doing this. My first paying job was a regional voiceover campaign for Taco Cabana.
Do you remember what you had to
Cabana.
say?
I have them listed. Welcome to Taco Cabana, or something or other, and pupusas, and welcome to something about the pupusas, and
Grab our new grilled pupusa combo to go with chips, queso, and a 20-ounce drink for just $4.99. That's right, just $4.99. Taco Cabana, real Mexican, real good.
That was my first paying job in the business, that regional campaign. It's funny. It's
but
pretty
you look
funny.
at this stuff and like you look at like this is what makes you, right?
Right.
Like all this. You have to go through so much shit, and you have to. I mean, not that these were bad gigs. Maybe there's probably some great gigs, but like, you know, like
they were amazing gigs.
you look back and you're like, man, I can't believe that I was there and now I'm here. I mean, you worked for David Simon.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with David Simon in a show called Show Me a Hero. I was actually in New York for that brief few shots, so like exteriors that we had to shoot, because this was something that took place in Yonkers. It was a kind of like a autobiographical work of this politician who was advocating for the underrepresented group of people in Yonkers who were kind of being pushed out. And
Sounds like a David Simon.
it's a great, of course. I mean, David Simon. I mean, what a smart guy. And the crazy thing is, you know, Oscar Isaac was the lead on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But the highlight of that for me was not only, you know, obviously working here, but then going to Puerto Rico to work in Puerto Rico for like 4 or 5 days. And
wow.
we finalized, we did the final shots in Puerto Rico, and last day of the production, out on the jacuzzi in the El San Juan Hotel at the time, my father was there, I'm there, my cousin Gerardo was there, and David Simon. Poolside, the 4 of us, pounding tequila shots with Tabasco sauce on the side, it was like, I don't even know if my father knew who he was. I mean, do you know who this guy?
He only made the greatest show of all time.
Dad, did you ever watch The Wire? The Wire? Did you? Oh, yeah, sí.
Guilty.
Ese es el creador de ese show. That's the guy.
That must have been so cool.
It was.
You know, like when you're like, you know, I mean, it sounded like your parents were amazing.
Yeah.
And like he endorsed your growth and
100%.
100%. So emotional.
Yeah,
you know?
that was hard. You know, I've always, you know, we're parents now. We understand you know, there's nothing that we love more, obviously, but they don't stay with us. We want to see them do well on their own. Our job is to prepare them for them to be their own people. They are their own people. I mean, they're born. Exactly. They're born wired to be who they are going to be. They just happen to kind of be. They come through us.
Yeah. My kids are. They have so much of me in them, but one is a crazy talented musician and one's a crazy talented artist.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do either of those things even a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, they're their own. I mean, it's such a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, it really does kind of transcends our purpose in life. You know, we have our side of goals and personal things that we have to reach in our lives, obviously. But when you're a parent, life really transcends when you're also tasked with prepping another human being to be their own person. You know, to be who they are supposed to be, not what we want them to be, but who they're supposed to be. And man, that comes with a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I'm blessed, man. We're blessed. We're in a great place.
No, we are. I mean, talk about some of the other shows you've done, like leading up to Dutton Ranch. I mean, I know like you've had some really good runs, Power Book.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you know, again, Show Me a Hero was another stepping stone. That was that was a great. And between that, couple of movies, smaller roles. You know, I did Elementary. I did the NCIS. I graduated from that co-star to that guest star, and then eventually from guest star to series regular, which is really the progression that, you know, as far as television is concerned. You know, I also got my legit agent, my legit manager. In that progression, you know, I freelanced with a bunch of agents in the city. When you're co-starring and when you're starting to do more and more co-stars, there's usually an agent or a manager involved who continues to advocate and get you in those rooms. And, you know, because it goes beyond the breakdowns or the normal casting calls that you would see that the normal audience would get or the public would get. These are like more inside casting through a vetting process, which essentially is what an agent is. It's a vetting for the talent, and casting directors and productions understand that if they use them, et cetera, they're going to get the quality that they're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. And then I ended up, and you know, I think Orange was like kind of like the establishing crazy opportunity, right? I mean, and that started off as a co-star and then graduated to more, and they kept calling me for more. Jenji Kohan, the creator, who I think she liked me. You know,
I think so. Yeah.
I think we did okay. We did okay. She's a great person, great creator, great showrunner, amazing showrunner. They just kept calling me back, and then I think that was that was like at least the point where I was like, oh, okay, so this is who he is. This is he was able to do this kind of work at this level with these. You know, I mean, that quickly became more than a one-person story, but more of an ensemble piece.
Yes, yeah.
Because everyone was, I mean, go on and on about all the names that came from there. Uzo, Pablo Schreiber. I mean, there was just so many different, you know, Dasha Polanco. I mean, there was just a lot of, you know, my good friend Laura Gomez. This show opened the doors for a lot of like New York actors as well. But there were like real serious, talented people. And even the names that were maybe not recognizable. I think just everyone collectively was just such a talented group. And then from there, things started to kind of fall in place. Then I landed the role of on When They See Us, which was a story about the Central Park Five, which Ava DuVernay, it's amazing. Meeting Ava DuVernay was like the highlight of that production. And then working on a show about such a serious matter, you know, and I'm at
Yeah.
such a serious moment in the story of what those 5 boys went through in New York City, which ironically enough for me, my connection and my source of inspiration for the work I did, because I played a guard in the jail.
Okay.
And I remember just moving to New York City when that was happening. I had just moved to New York City when that
what
sent
year?
84.
84, yep. Mm-hmm.
I think I was here already maybe a year or two, maybe months when
Wild.
this went on. I was already in school for sure. We lived in Queens and Elmhurst, and so I remember that story vividly. I mean, the contradictions of that story, and then later on you hear about how those confessions were coerced, right? Like they were completely innocent, and then they became the exonerated 5. And so I got to meet Corey, and I got to meet some of the other guys, and obviously it was a very significant work. Then comes Power, and I actually read for the role of Tommy in the original Power years ago. I probably wasn't ready, and
Right.
Tommy and that role specifically, him and the role of Ghost in the original Power were pivotal,
Right.
For those 2 guys, and so the reason I bring that up is because I had already been in Courtney Kemp's circle. Courtney Kemp is the creator showrunner for Power Book 2, which was the spinoff from the original Power.
Yep.
I had actually read for a couple of projects in between that original read, and then when that Power audition came along, there were Courtney projects as well, a pilot or 2 that she had done, and then came this opportunity to play Mary J. Blige's convict husband in jail, who essentially was running a family drug business from inside of jail, where she was running it on the outside. So yeah, that opportunity comes along, and I was working with Kettle, and I actually, while I was working with Kettle, shot a couple of episodes. I found a way between my days and nights, whatever, to figure out a way to get into the city and then make up what I needed to do. Because, I mean, you kind of, as a brand manager, you kind of run your own business.
Yeah.
But then suddenly I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually working in TV now, and this is really happening.
Yeah.
And
you're Mary J. Blige's TV.
Yeah,
like might be time to quit the day job.
I mean, I really can't do this in a very honest way with my manager and other people. Like at some point, I'm gonna have to let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, after that first season, they called me and they said, "You're a series regular for season 2."
Man, you must have been.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
I was floored, man. I mean, it was a life. It was being a working actor was always the goal. It's not really celebrity. It's not really, riches and millions. And that was my moment. Man. I called my manager at Kettle, and I was like, listen, this is what's happening. And it would be unfair for me to continue to do.
Yeah.
I will not be dedicating the same energy, and this is my dream, and I'm gonna have to go for it. And they were so great. I mean, we're great friends to this day. I was able to actually be part of the process of my my replacement, who was also a very good friend of mine, Michael Johannesson, and he took over the role and elevated it even more. So, everything lined up perfectly.
Works out, huh?
It always, he's always watching.
Yeah, no, I mean,
He's
there's
always
something
watching.
happening because
There's something happening.
is like, there's always these weird things that, and I think I just honestly believe that good things happen to good people.
Thank you. Yeah, I believe so too. It's not always easy. Life doesn't always give you life is filled with a lot of hard moments too.
Course,
but you can never lose the grace that you have to have, because it is a gift, and so yeah, things line up and things continue to line up, and all you got to do is continue to put your best foot forward.
So Taylor,
yeah, Taylor Sheridan,
like legend.
This
guy's a legend. He's like, I'm calling Berto.
Well, please, that would be I don't belong in the same room with that guy just yet, but listen, former actor who just got sick of one day continuing to have this stagnant thing that happens to us from time to time in our careers, and said, fuck it, I'm doing my own thing. Right. Wrote a couple of films, Sicario, Wind River. The success of those films allowed him to do what he really wanted to do, which is to produce these Western and these cowboy shows, for lack of a better term. And this business model has absolutely blown up.
It's like the Shonda Rhimes when she did all the hospital ones, and like this, like he has this, like this is your lesson in niching down.
He is such a great writer, man. Like the guy he just, you know, having worked in Dutton Ranch since last September, and also previous to landing this show, I had read for like Landman, I read for Lioness. I basically, what actor has not tried to get on a Taylor Sheridan show over the last 3.5-4 years, right? And I was pretty bummed out. I think I was pretty close. I read for Marshall's shortly before I read for Dutton Ranch.
Okay.
And I was really bummed about that one. Like
Yeah.
I really was pissed. I think I did a self tape, and then maybe I don't recall if there was a call back there. But I had read for, you know, those shows, and this was actually the second or third or maybe the fourth self tape that I actually booked from this reading for Dutton Ranch, which was at the time called the Rio Paloma. And now it's...
Oh, because that's where they
well,
moved.
you got to disguise the name, and you don't ever want stuff leaking out, and et cetera, et cetera. But you know, the working title was Rio Paloma. And I've been working closely with Actors Playground in Freehold, small studio, acting studio, run by Ralph Colombino, and my daughter had actually started working with them because my daughter had actually started working with them. Typical acting studio for young kids and young teenagers.
Right.
And we struck up a conversation. My daughter Sophia was actually doing very, very well, and you know, you're allowed to self-tape, is what he told me. You know, if you ever have a self-tape, he comes up to me when I met him.
I didn't know that was a thing.
And from that point on, I haven't gone into the city except I usually do my self-tapes with Dennis Oley. He runs like a small studio. He runs his own little business in the city. But I haven't had a need to go. Well, I see him sporadically, like maybe 2 or 3 times the last 4 years. But I've been working with them because now I have access to a self-tape studio at Actors Playground.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
So again, things lining up,
man. I mean, but
things lining up nicely.
If you came in there like you were hot shit or whatever, and I'm serious, and he's like, I'm not helping this fucking guy. So Taylor Sheridan calls you and he's like, "You're gonna do this, but you gotta go to cowboy camp."
So ironically enough, for Dutton Ranch, I haven't met Taylor Sheridan yet. I think he was around a number of times.
He's busy.
But yeah, he was around a number of times. I mean, he's ongoing 4 or 5 different shows. But yeah, the process was, okay, you're good. They like you. This is happening. You got to go down to Fort Worth, Texas. And there's cowboy camp involved.
Have you ever? I mean, we'll go into it, but yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, first of all, it's like, yes, hell yes, let's get it done. Like, you know, we were going back and forth negotiating contracts. Whatever, they do what they do, and my team does what they do. And I mean, I was a go. It was a beautiful situation. Again, you know, we started out with a minimum. Was a co-star, a guest star role that started out with the 4 minimum episode minimum, but then I ended up in typical fashion, right? This has been the repeat of my career, and God bless, and knock on wood, and it continues. But the storyline for Miguel continued, and you know, I got to work with Ed Harris and Annette Bening, Juan Pablo Raula, Jai Courtney. You know, of course, Rip and Beth, the formidable Cole Hauser and Kelly Riley, Natalie Lind and Finn Little, my good friend James Edwards, who him and I were basically the 2 main wranglers for the role of Beulah, which is Annette Bening role. The Jax, she's the head of that family. She's you know, the established Jackson family.
Already,
I mean, It's been an eye-opening experience, and the whole process of it's like kind of like for me, I grew up with my father roping for several years of my young, early life. Like I think from the ages of like 9 to 11, or maybe 7 to 10. I forget.
So wait a minute, your dad had experience.
So my
doing
dad was a
this.
roper in Puerto Rico, and we grew up going to rodeos for 2-3 years while he was a single roper. He had to the rope in the calf, gets out, ties the legs, and that was his event. He was the single roper, because there's also the tandem, the head-heel events where the guys rope the head and the heel. And then there's the bull riding, and then the bronco riding and all that other stuff. But I was with my dad while he was training his horse because horses had to be, the horses in these events have to be trained to do certain things. Like for my father, once the calf is roped, the horse is tasked with keeping tension on the rope, because then you have to dismount. You have to run to the calf, throw it on its side, bring it down, tie the legs, and the clock expires when you're done tying the legs. And I watched that process. My father's horse, his name was Duque. It was a quarter horse mixed with some kind of local bloodline. There's such a crazy story about that horse too, because he came from a family of ranch owners and multiple animals, not just horses, but like maybe a dozen or 24 horses and calves and cows. And these was a well-known family in the town. But this horse was just bit of a hard nose.
Right.
And my father got him from pretty cheap. And also my father grew up riding, like when he was very young himself, and riding. And I'm bareback with a little small horse or a smaller horse, local horse, but just he grew up. He knew how to cowboy. He just knew about horses and horsemanship, and he had knowledge of them. And so, again, introduced us to a lot of things. And he was doing this sport. So for me to years later, somehow, some way, bring something back from my early life and connect it with my current career, with my lifelong dream to become an actor and to be doing this work on this level. Like I feel it added so many benefits while I was there, because I got through cowboy camp with I think that I actually want to change my lifestyle. Like I want to leave here and just be in a ranch, but because it's such a way to live.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's so simple, and then the connection with the animals and the daily routine, and it's such an addicting lifestyle. And subtle, and those guys that I met, all those wranglers that I've been down there working with since September, like the kindest, most generous, most chivalrous, most honorable people. Opening doors, thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, you have a good day. Sometimes we'd be riding in the ranch, and we're just kind of like riding for the day, and there are doors and gates in these ranches and stables that you got to close and open. And I learned one of the rules: if the first guy you get to the gate, you open it. The rest of the gang goes through the gate, but they wait, and until the person who opened the gate originally closes the gate, then you guys all go together. That's normally the way it goes. Like that alone for me was like, happen anywhere else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
not here.
I learned a lot. It's been a dream. And then again, did some great horseback riding on some of the episodes, and got to ride for real, because you want to look legitimate. So it's like maybe 6 months of riding and 4 months of cowboy camp, which was at that point, after the second or third week, it was optional.
There you go, Berto!
You just kept going.
The wranglers were there every day. They had, wranglers were not just there to teach us how to be cowboys. They handle the animals on the set. Mm-hmm. And so it's part of Jason Owen and Paul Freeman are the two lead guys, the lead cowboys. But then there's a whole host of other guys, True Burson and Juan and Ethan Lee and all these other guys that we worked with. They wrangle on the show, so they had to manage and deal with the horses on the show. And so you get to know them, relationships,
Yep.
blah, 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 continue to grow, continue to be a real, legitimate, genuine person. You want to go there, you want to ride, you're welcome to do it. You're not shooting today, you can go up. And we were staying in Fort Worth, and then the camp where they keep the horses, the famous 4-6s, Bosque Ranch, which is in Weatherford, Texas. So it was about 30, 40-minute drive.
4-6s?
4-6s. He just opened a new one there.
Gotcha.
And right next to that is the Bosque Ranch, which has been there. I mean, Taylor owns both of those now. He actually, that's the second largest ranch in all of Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's his property.
Okay.
Those are his animals, his horses. And he's a showrunner and producer, so he gets to use his own. Like it's just he's a genius. I mean, what he's doing, this way that he works with using all of these animals and all these people involved in the shows adds brings such legitimate feel and vibe to all these little moments that most people would take for granted. But believe me, real cowboys know, and they see an actor on a horse. First of all, they know if that's the real actor or not. Second of all, they know whether or not he's ever ridden a fucking horse before or not.
Yeah.
Like, and that's
it's like a guy who's like bad at sports and they're playing in a sports movie.
a basketball player. Like, if you don't, and then you see them shooting the basketball like
exactly.
this.
Like real cowboys would know.
Real cowboys would know how to saddle a horse, how to get off a horse, how to sit on a horse, how to trot, how to gallop. You can tell, you know? And
cowboy camp. That's
all of that.
So wild.
So sick, man. So sick. And you got, we would have done it for free, but we did get, the production pays for us to do that. But after the amount of time that they prescribed for us to do this, like let's say it was a week or 10 days. After that, it was just optional.
And you just went.
And I took the option every time. And not just me, all of us. All of us.
Oh, good. Yeah,
and the stunt guys. So some of the stunt guys who get hired, who may not be working. So some of the stunt guys that are being hired for the show, who also double as actors, they were there as well.
Is there any like cool, like behind the scenes stories?
Oh God, I will tell you this one that I thought it was so valid, but it's a really. I'll make this short because I don't want to bore you with like actory nonsense. But
people love it.
And I also don't want to give away. But there was a particular day. The first day I got to meet Ed Harris. Legend. I mean, and his role as Everett, the town vet. He's one of my top 10 guys. I still remember Pollock, and I remember him in the Truman Show, and of course Glenn Ross. And when has he not been on fire? Like every single time this guy works, he's intense. You know. But there was this one particular day where, without giving too much away, we're in this particular setup for the day. I watched him sort of get into character by sort of like setting up a situation previous to the shot where we as a collective, meaning of people full of like maybe 100 people in a room, all basically lived in this space just prior to them saying action. So he purposely created an environment. I'm working real hard to not tell you exactly what it was, but he basically, on his own, got up, created a situation where we were basically living out the previous moment in real time, right?
Okay.
We're sitting in this room. There are, again, 40, 50 people involved. There may be a chorus happening. There may be some singing going on. There may be some audience response to an actual situation that was happening previous to the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then the director called action. And then we were in this place for real.
Wow.
It wasn't like we were just sitting there dead waiting for the director to call. I mean, we literally created we created the environment, the moment, the event, whatever was happening, without me giving it away, in order for us to kind of catapult us into the scene. Wow. And he just got up on his, like nobody knew what was going on. He got up on his own, went and spoke to whoever he needed to speak to. Part of the cast, part of the people that were hired to be actors, nobody in production. He basically asked them to do something, maybe some singing involved. And then we went on, he literally did all that to set up the scene. You get the gist.
Just
and it's
seeing him get in, I mean, a legend.
to
And
watch.
it's so fun
right.
to see like these legends like work, and you probably pick up stuff.
Yeah, to watch the process and something so basic, right? Like, I mean, it's the kind of like the ABCs of this work as an actor that you do is you got to be in this place. And, you know, it's a lot of different ideas and people have terminologies, method acting, this, that. It's either convincing and not convincing.
Right.
Tom Hardy said that in a recent interview. And I believe that. You know,
it's either convincing or not
it's
convincing.
either there's two types of acting. You're
Yeah.
either convincing or you're not. And how you prepare in order to do a scene so that it is convincing, so that it is real as far as it can. I will always treasure that opportunity that he basically gave us all for free. Like that was a freebie for me. Wow. Yeah, powerful
so
stuff.
cool.
Powerful. There was
Good guy
another
too, huh?
another actor there that Josh Stewart, who has become a good friend of mine. We that's the other thing about the show. All the cast members, we've become so close, so close. And I've had an opportunity to have some real close relationships. For example, my TV family from Ghost Power Book 2, the kids, especially the three actors, Woody, LaToya, and Lavelle, we're still friends to this day. And in the same vein, you know, the work becomes so significant that you just develop these bonds with these people. But for us in Texas, it's been another level. I mean, when you combine our experiences at cowboy camp, just that alone, and then being in that Fort Worth and, you know, with the stockyards and hanging out in the stockyards and, you know, going to set and then meeting everyone that's, you know, the crew and the production people that are there, kind of like to make the show make this show happen. All those experiences combined, we've all gotten really close. It's amazing.
It's I mean, are we losing you to Texas? I know your daughter's going down there.
Yeah, it's crazy enough. You know, I think I told her when I got down there in September. I mean, look, being a college football guy and sports guy.
Yeah.
I've known the schools in Texas are legendary. I mean, you have like top 25 and in the top 50 to top 75 schools in the nation, you have like maybe 10 or 12 of them are all from Texas, you know. And UT, I mean, I was a Ricky Bell fan and I was a big Earl Campbell fan. So, of course, I'm going to like the colleges that those guys went to. They're like some of my football heroes. And I do remember the mystique of UT, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure that people from Texas will agree when I say this. I knew somewhat the idea, but now being in Texas, there is something really at the core of Texans who go to Texas.
Yep.
That is almost as valuable as, or it is part of their being, right? Like that for the rest of their lives, being a UT alumni is as big as being a Texan. I mean, the pride that goes with that is, and I can sense, I know why, you know what I mean? This past year, we went to see the Red River Classic, which at the Cotton Bowl, which is the classic game between Texas and Oklahoma. They do this every year. I mean, I don't know how many people. I mean, I was never. I have never really witnessed or felt the energy that behind these college games. Haven't played college football, which I did in front of maybe 7,000 or 5,000 people at Florida at the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx. Humbly for me, that was. I'm not knocking it. It was amazing to feel that energy, but that compared to 70,000, 85,000 people. I mean, literally one side is crimson, the other side is that burnt orange. There's just nothing like that. And to think that game goes back, like, I don't even know how many decades. I mean, it's probably been going on as long as college football has been alive. You know what I mean? Like sensing that and feeling that, those students, their faces, the student bodies, the way that the parents who go to these games, you know, the alumni who are now adults and they're going back to these events and these games. It's just the rivalry. I mean, it's something else. So I told her to apply, and she did to a couple of different ones. And my Sophie is very smart, very, very, very charismatic. So much talent, so many things that she has going for her. And you know, she wrote a hell of an essay. She has all A's at RBC, which is, you know, God, I mean, this kid, you know, does She does everything right. These are this is all I want her to understand. Is like, you do the right things, you will reap the reward. So wrote a hell of an essay, crazy SAT score, carries all A's. And I mean, look, her demographic, her last name, also all those things combined,
Of course, yeah.
it helps. You know, it helps.
Well, she's got great parents.
Thank you. I hope that you know, teenagers, they're hard, but I do hope that this stuff starts to sink in little by little.
Cowboy, surfer,
yeah,
football player.
football,
This is just,
dirt bikes.
man, I want to be like you.
Oh, Jesus.
We're gonna transition into
Yes,
this Jersey
yes,
Best.
yes.
Because I think that as part of a weekly segment I want to do here, I'm going to bring on my guests and I'm going to do six questions.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to discuss. I have my opinions. I could probably come up with different answers each week, but it's called Jersey's Best.
Yeah.
And this is just a way to, again, celebrate this area, but also add value. I mean, people are coming here. There might be people coming here, to work in film or whatever, because and they might need to know this stuff. So we're doing a service for the people.
Love it.
And
for the people.
And this is you are the only one who's doing it so far. So this
okay.
is
I'm gonna set the tone for this 6 rapid questions segment. I guess that's what you're saying.
Yeah, don't fuck it up. Best restaurant. What's your favorite restaurant in Jersey?
Oh my God. So look, this is a very honest answer. Okay, I as a former brand ambassador for Kettle One and a foodie, is that what you call it? A foodie? Foodie.
Foodie.
As a not a footie, like a stinky foot. That's my accent coming out. Look, as a brand ambassador who worked in an on-premise market in Jersey and got to see and experience a lot of places firsthand. For me, recently, I have to clearly state that. For me, recently, my go-to restaurants are One Willow in the Highlands and Eagle and Ember, or is it Ember and Eagle? These two restaurants, as a local, Jersey Shore, Monmouth County guy, in fact, I kind of, my wife gets a little sick of it, but every Friday night sometimes can we just go? Those have been my, especially One Willow, because it's like a 7-minute drive from the house.
It's so fast, I know.
And let me tell you, that guy's selection and what they're doing in there, and I know that they're closed for a certain period of the year because, obviously it's a very seasonal situation there, but I've just experienced just some incredible dishes there, incredible cocktails, incredible service. And I think last year they brought in I don't know how many pounds of fresh tuna, and I had like tuna sushi, tuna steak, fresh. Like it was a fresh, massive fish that they brought in for a week. So One Willow and Ember and Eagle.
One Willow, you can't beat the view either.
No, the view is amazing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the view is amazing.
Favorite beach town?
Man. So I have my local Monmouth Beach and Seabright, who are my local go-to, right? My daughters have basically been raised in Seabright, and they love to still go there a lot. And Monmouth, Seven Presidents was a beach that we frequented a lot when they were little.
Yeah.
But my favorite beach town has to be LBI, Point Pleasant and LBI. I kind of fluctuate between the two. Every year I try to do at least a weekend or a weekend or two down at LBI. Or
you got Beach Haven, Ship's Bottom? What are you?
All of
it. All around?
All around. I mean,
I love LBI.
Hotel LBI. I have, that used to be one of my accounts when I was with Kettle, and I still, one of the greatest places to see a sunset, by the way, because you're kind of elevated and you have a really high view of the western skies. And then, obviously there's no water there, but to see that sunset at Hotel LBI is something else.
You can walk 5 minutes from the bay to the beach.
Oh my God. And New Haven. I mean, I'm all up and down. I've stayed in Airbnbs the entire length of the island, and just in general, that Point Pleasant and then LBI are probably my favorite.
Best gym?
Oh,
Come on, rep it.
I'm repping the Power Pack all day, every day. I mean, it's just CrossFit in general changed my life. I remember when I was in Jersey City, I started working out a little bit CrossFit over there. But yeah, Power Pack is a different kind of place. Lovely, amazing community. We have.
It's great.
People like you and I attend, go to this place, and so
met my wife there.
You met your wife there. Look at that.
Yep.
I don't know how many other gyms that have their own competition every year.
Yep.
where we're like not just an in-house comp, but like an actual competition where also not only the gym members go to, but the Battle by the Bay
Yep.
is what I'm referencing. But then also the hangouts, like the yearly hangouts and Christmas and whatnot. Like, shout outs to Frank and the coaching team there. They've established they do a good job.
Best slice.
Best slice. So I'm a New York guy. I obviously have a bit of I'm very opinionated when it comes to a good slice. But I have to say, Delio's Pizza in South Amboy.
Really?
And
okay, this is good. I gotta
check
I was
it
gonna
out.
write it down, but
I
I
mean,
have
the
to
owner,
listen to this.
I forget. I mean, the owners are like in their late 70s or 80s. They're still doing it the old-fashioned way, and let me tell you, that pizza is perfect crunch, perfect sauce, perfect cheese. The pepperoni is obviously a necessity. So for me, Delio's is great. But then one of my recent discoveries is Franny's.
Where's that?
In the Highlands. And
Really?
yeah.
Is this new?
No, they've been there for a long time
I
too.
might go there after.
Yeah,
right
we
after
might. We
this.
should grab a slice after
Let's
this.
do it.
But it's really good. It's the Highlands. I mean, a coworker of my wife's here recommended it one day, and I've been going since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll go with you.
Let's go right after
I-
this.
You probably be sick of talking to me, but
No,
we can
you
sit
kidding?
in silence.
No, dude. Listen, we'll grab a slice after this.
Best view.
I have this spot. I have this spot here right next to Beacon Hill that overlooks. My dream is to own land here. I guess I have to finagle away to meeting the Hess family somehow, if they're listening. Or Hesse. Did I pronounce that correctly? Is it Hesse or Hess? Hesse family.
We'll have to ask our producer, Hesse or Hess. Yes.
No idea.
Come on, man. You work across
He's
the
in-
way
he's
from
in the
their
shit.
cafe.
Can we hear you on the podcast? I just want to talk to you sometime.
You'll have to edit it out. Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah, we'll
no.
have to
You're,
edit
it.
you're good. As long
That's
as you're
amazing.
okay with it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so I think that view from Beacon Hill, because it's kind of like I'm home. I'm essentially a short 5-minute walk from the top of that hill, but it's the view of the city. It's that expansive, sort of like I guess the same view you would get from our Twin Lights,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That
But like a little bit, like sort of not as well known, maybe.
not as well
or-
known, maybe, but that's a
Well, Twin
beautiful
Lights is,
spot.
yeah.
A beautiful spot here. I mean, that's technically Highlands, right? That's Highlands.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the story, like when people get to know what that is and why those two lights exist, et cetera, but it's like it's the opening to the Atlantic Ocean. It's like the easternmost point in Jersey, I guess, or something like that.
Tallest.
And one of the
highest
tallest, the
yeah.
highest point in Jersey. But that view, for me personally, the view of the city to kind of like always be able to reflect, those are my stomping grounds. That's where everything started. And then to be now in this house,
Yeah.
very lucky to be in the position where I'm actually walking to the top of a hill instead of walking out and into the pavement, the concrete jungle of the city, and grass under my feet, and just being able to look at the city from up there. It's
Amazing area.
amazing.
We had
It's
friends
amazing.
up the other day. We were at Proving Ground, and they're not from around here. They don't know this area well. And we were just up. The sun was setting, and I was just showing them around,
Yeah.
out the windows. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's New York City, and there's the beach, and it's like this is.
It's an
grew up
amazing
in the middle
reminder.
Of Pennsylvania, like
Yeah.
I pinch myself sometimes.
Yeah. And by the way, the sunrise, and then my kids for a little while there, they had a little bit of a fever where they were going to watch at least they were telling me that's what they were going to do, to watch the sunrise in Seabright every day.
This is my favorite question because
Yeah.
I think that everyone's gonna have a different one. But
Yeah.
best hidden gem.
So, again, so grateful for that Kettle One job that I had for so long. I got to see and work and be around a lot of places in New Jersey, and, not surprising, but there's a place down in 7 Mile Island. It's a little bit kind of out of the beaten path, but there's a hotel down there called Icona, Windrift. And that area, that beach is sort of a little bit like Cape May. It's a little bit north of that, but that 7 Mile Island, that to me is, and I guess not a lot of people go there, and I hope I don't blow it up too much.
Yeah.
But it is just, it's like almost white sand beaches, and there are still dunes there that kind of protect kind of like this entry area. I guess it's Beach Haven.
Okay.
I guess that's what you. But there's a separate little area called 7 Mile Island. It's inside of that whole beach. All those beach towns kind of come in and out, right? Like it's kind of like different.
Yeah.
Different, I guess, jetties, if you will, or different sections there. But yeah, that to me is that's literally, it is heaven down there. It's a beautiful area. That particular property is pretty amazing place.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that spot.
Thank you. And I just wanted one more chance to get the questions.
Some of the questions. Let's get to the questions.
I think there's only one, but unless you have one on your story.
Let's see. I don't know.
I got to get you out of here because.
Oh no, dude! I'm telling you, don't rush for me.
I only got one, and it's from my wife.
Your wife,
who has a crush on you. Do we have to cut that out? She doesn't care, right? She wants to know how much you can bench press. Then she put a little heart eye emoji next to it.
So
she's embarrassing herself. She's like,
yeah.
So why don't you just throw yourself at him?
Well, listen, tell your wife. Oh my God, Kelly. She's seen me struggle with such little weight on the bar, so I don't know why. I don't know why she would have to ask that question. I don't think I can bench that much. I've actually, I almost tore my shoulder up working out with Sean Tony one day. So shout outs to Sean for almost fucking killing me not too long ago. I decided to. He's an animal. He's a fucking gorilla. But that's one of the things about the box that we love so much. It's such a competitive and yet friendly environment that kind of like allows you to kind of mess up like this, but then go for your best also at the same time.
Right.
You've done that to me a couple of times in just a simple normal watts. It's like you're nonstop. We were doing like burpees over the bar and then something else and then something else. And I was ready to quit. And you were like, no, keep going.
I'd be the quitter. I stopped doing CrossFit.
I still remember. I think this is the shirt that we wore for our in-house competition. And you were always crushing it. I don't bench a lot, man. I think these days I'd be very happy to get close to like 250, 270. And that'll be it.
That's pretty good.
I think a long time ago when I was in high school, someone told me that if you can regularly squat 215, regularly bench 225,
that's all you need.
That's really all you need.
Yeah, I actually come to that realization recently. I could talk to you for another 3 hours about fitness. I'm gonna cut it off because we'll talk about this later. But I'm changing up my training anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
By saying you have read off some amazing names and I've heard amazing stories, and I mean this so genuinely because you are probably one of the best people I've ever met. That I am so fucking proud of you. Like you're fucking crushing it. I know how hard it is to be in a creative field and to rise above it, but it's only because you're a top-notch human being.
Thank you, bro. Means a lot, Chris. You too. You left a mark on me. I've always respected you. You were probably one of the first couple of guys I talked to in the gym. One of the first. Well, maybe one first or two that connected and like the simply just working out next to somebody that you can kind of talk to and then compete with, right? Mm-hmm. And you've always been graceful. You've always been helpful. You helped me do that piece a few years back for that Muscle and Fitness.
Oh yeah.
Helped
That
me
was
with those
like
photos.
Our first sort of foray together.
Yeah.
This is my payback.
This is your payback. So I appreciate that story. It's still up there. Those pictures, you created that. They're amazing content. So you've helped me create and market myself, and you've done it pro bono, and you've been graceful. And I appreciate your friendship, man. And thank you for the work. Thank you for the kind words. And whatever you need, you got me.
Oh, you're the best. I love you so much.
Love you too, man.
All right, let's cut it off. We went 2 hours.
Yeah, it's okay.